Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I am talking about working with investors and everything you need to know before you jump into bed with one and sign on that dotted line, which I know so many people are eager to do, whether that be in property, you've got a startup company, perhaps you're buying businesses, or you just need a joint venture partner. Everyone gets very excited when it comes to the first time, or perhaps, other times that they're offered money that they accept it straight away and then they just go into partnership with anyone, okay? And that's not the way to do it, because there are things you must do in order to, one, make sure the investor's right for you, that you've protected yourself, and that you've protected the investor as well. And that goes for all types of investors. In fact, more so with retail investors, because there's a higher risk due to a lack of knowledge, a lack of experience. But again, with high net worths, sophisticated, and if you're lucky enough, ultra high net worths, you really need to take care, follow simple steps and the processes, and that's why I'm doing this video. Before we continue, please do hit like and subscribe. And if you know anyone that is working with investors or talks a lot about working with investors, please do send them this video, because they probably need to hear some of this content. Now, there are many pros, of course, to working with investors, from scalability to new partnerships, new doors being opened, new referrals, introductions, and access to more capital, because investors typically know more investors, okay? And of course, if a project goes well and it all goes okay, you get a great testimonial, which is ultimately credibility. So, there are many pros to working with investors, but there are things that need to be done. So I created a digital download called the Ultimate Investor Checklist and Information Pack. And I put my 9 years experience working with all types of investors, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I've crammed it all in. And basically I have steps and processes that all you have to do is read and follow, and you can avoid anything going wrong, and making sure that you do everything correctly as well, because we are in a world where at the moment it seems almost glamorous to talk about working with business owners and investors and raising capital on social media. But time and time again, I see people missing out on very simple steps and just the basics of saying things such as if it's unregulated or regulated. Because look, the Financial Conduct Authority, the FCA, are watching everything. Things are changing all the time. Stating capital at risk, that's another basic. And look, you can go ahead and raise as much capital as you want on social media, because investors are on most platforms. But you just need to make sure that you're stating very clearly what it is you need, what it's for, security available, capital at risk, is it regulated or unregulated? And many people aren't doing that. And then what happens behind closed doors is even more important. Are you doing a questionnaire? Are you doing AML checks, anti-money laundering checks? Do you have a stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3 protection checklist questionnaire, which basically is a very simple and quick questionnaire, which I actually include my own personal one in this digital download, so you don't even have to create your own, in order to get simple answers back, literally just a yes or a no, in order for you to determine whether that investor is right for you or not. Because I will say this, the responsibility is 100% on us. By protecting ourselves and making sure that we follow the correct process actually protects the investor before we even get onto their processes that we need to do, such as certifying them as a type of investor, whether they're retail, high net worth, so forth. You need to do all of that, and then it's storing all of that information on your laptop, on a database, and having all the correct paperwork, having your agreement and the contract actually handed over to a solicitor and drawn up legally, and then having a third party as a witness to sign that off. There's so much, because as I said, there are so many pros to working with investor. Like, you can really scale and grow your business very fast if it's the right investor, they have the right contacts and the capital behind them. It can be incredible, I promise you that. However, if it goes wrong, my God, your credibility, your brand, your business, your reputation, everything that you have built can literally go down the Swanee in a heartbeat, to the point where you can go bankrupt, you can be fined, and worst case, you can even serve a prison sentence. Like that's the legitimate scenario that could happen, is that if you haven't followed a process or you've missed out on something, you could actually go to prison. Like, that has happened, okay? But no one wants that. No one wants to go bankrupt, and no one wants to lose their credibility, okay? So in order to avoid all of that happening, follow the simple processes, and I'm going to tell you what is in this digital download in order for you to simply read, learn, and apply, and it's as simple as that. So I'm going to teach you about learning the different types of investors. It's really important you know what type of investor that you're working with so you can certify them, because they won't necessarily know what category they fit into. Number two, I'm going to teach you on what you can and what you cannot post on social media. And there are so many people doing it wrong, where people can literally screen cap what you're posting. If you think it disappears after 24 hours on being a story, believe me, it only takes someone to screen cap it and use that in court. How to protect you and your investors by using a 3-stage process and a checklist, which I include. 4 different security options you can offer to an investor, because I see so many people raising capital and borrowing money on a PG. It means diddly squat. Personal guarantee means nothing. If you recall that in, and there's 4 or 5 investors that are all owed 50, 100 grand, and someone has no assets or no liabilities or no net worth, the PG, PG means nothing. You've just lent on an unregulated, unsecured loan. That's all that is. Okay, PG means nothing, believe me. I'll actually include above me a link to a video where I lost £12,000. That was on a PG. Okay, and what I will do is I'll include the ultimate investor checklist front cover on the screen somewhere. Number 5, basic due diligence checks that you must conduct. Because an investor will conduct checks on us, they'll check out our social media. That's why I always talk about the importance of setting up a professional stance of who you are, what you do, the service that you offer. But it's also important you conduct due diligence checks on them. 6, how and why you need to request proof of funds at a certain stage. That's more so for you, so you can go and negotiate, put offers in, so forth, not lose out on your deal. Number 7, understanding what legal paperwork is needed. A lot of people think that they can just put an email together, send it over to the investor, bish bosh bash, you're done. That's not the case. Okay, you need legal paperwork involved. And then again, it's storing that paperwork. Number 8, how to conduct anti-money laundering checks. Great borrowing some money. You wouldn't take 50 grand in cash, and you wouldn't just take 50 grand transferred over not knowing where it came from. Could be crime money, you don't know. That's why AML checks are in process. Number 9, final agreement emailed and confirmed with everything included to the investor and then signed off, and you can use DocuSign, stuff like that. Number 10, time to request the funds. Okay, so actually requesting the transfer. Number 11, how do you store where the funds go, and then how do you store the paperwork, agreements, contracts. Number 12, why and how you need to create an investor database, clearly stating who everyone is, because if you're pooling investors together or you have a syndicate on the go, you need to know this is the agreement with that individual, that information for that individual, and so forth. So everyone is separated and it's very clear cut on who's who. Number 13, know your investor and do not do this. Okay, so I'm going to give you some do's and don'ts. Absolutely, lessons that I've learned, the good, the bad, the ugly, I put those in there. 14, Aaron's top 9 investor tips. 9 years working with investors, 9 tips, you're going to learn something. And then finally, I've got like a discounted offer page where basically I've got some things that you can go and take away and carry on learning and get in contact with me about. This digital download literally has everything you need in order to protect yourself, protect your investor, and make sure that when you are raising money that you can sleep at night. Because if you lost someone's money, it's going to keep you up at night. You're going to wonder whether you did the right thing. Imagine if the FCA got involved and all this, these are all if, buts and maybes, but they can happen. And with the power of social media and with us being able to literally post, I need 100 grand, it's very, very dangerous, and you don't know if people are doing the right thing. So I really hope this video has been a bit of an insight, hopefully an eye-opener. That was the purpose of it. And what I will do is I'll include the digital download in the description below. It's 9 years, it's not a course, it's nothing like that. It's very simple, and it will be the last digital download that you need to pick up in order to make sure that your business and your process of bringing investors into your network, that you do it in the correct way and the safe way, so ultimately you can sleep at night and that you go on to build really good relationships that you can work with these people time and time again. I hope you did enjoy this video. Please do hit like and subscribe, and again share with people that you think need to hear this information. And until the next video, I'll see you all very soon.